Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Last night I bought a bicycle. I was on the internet yesterday and I was looking for a Bianchi bicycle, a steel one from maybe, 20 years ago with Campagnolo components on it. And I came across this bike in my own city and the price was really good on it. It's a Schwinn and it's from the either late 50s or early 60s, so about the same as my other bike, my roll fast bike. And it was just in awesome shape. I believe it's been restored, but I'm not sure. It could be the original condition. The reason I think it might be restored is that these tires are definitely the original tires. They've got Schwinn on them and they're kind of yellowed. And if we go up front, the nameplate, the Schwinn on the front, is kind of yellowy, whereas all the other paint on the whole bike is kind of still white, like the pinstripes on the fenders, the gas tank. So that leads me to believe that it's the frame has been restored. Here's an overall view of the bike. So it's got the drop frame design, which is really good for doing papers. You can get on and off it really easily. Yeah, it's quite nice for riding around. It's got the original Schwinn West Wind tires on it, and they've got a few cracks in the sidewall. They're old tires for sure. The rims down here say Schwinn on them, Schwinn tubular. The seat up here, it has the Schwinn nameplate on it, the Schwinn S on the top. And it looks all original. There's a bit of rust on the springs here, not very much, but just a little bit. It's got the carrying handles back here. The seat post is like my roll fast. It's a very narrow diameter, and then it tapers even more where the seat connects. So that's definitely old-fashioned. On the chain guard here, it has the Schwinn logo, Schwinn quality, Chicago on it, made in Chicago, Illinois. The pedals here, they have Schwinn on them, the Schwinn logo. Really cool. It's got the gas tank on it. There's a button here, I don't know what that does, if it does anything. Schwinn on it. And then it has a headlight here. This lifts up to put the batteries in. And it says Delta Hawk on it. So it's a Delta Hawk light, which is pretty cool. Even the handlebar grips, Schwinn on it, Schwinn approved. The other one too. So whether it's original or restored, it's in really good shape. I had a ride on it. It rides like a brand new bike. And the price of it was less than you could buy the very cheapest bike in a department store for. So I thought that was a good deal. Really happy to get this. Everything on the bike looks brand new. The chain, all the gears, the hubs, the wheels. Yeah. So I don't know. It's in good shape, whatever it is. If it's a restored bike or an original bike or reproduction bike, I don't know. But it's just a cool bike to ride around on. I'll show you some fancy riding. Don't try this at home because you'll probably crash. It takes a bit of getting used to, but riding with the opposite hands. All right, so here I go. I'm riding with my left hand, as you can see, and now I'm going to switch it to the right hand side. So I'm going to bring it around here, and here we are. Over here. There. So now I'm riding the bike with my left hand on the right handlebar, going around corners here, just like that. Cool, eh? Now I'm back. It's easier to do without a camera in one hand either. So I'll just turn around here. Once you've mastered the art of riding the bike with the opposite hands, You can go on to a more advanced trick, and that's riding the bike backwards. I'll show you that. Like that. So that was it. That's riding the bike backwards. Once you learn how to ride the bike backwards, you can learn to make turns and then eventually figure eights. And it's hard to ride the bike backwards because you can't see what's behind you. You kind of got to look over your shoulder all the time, which makes it even harder. But it's a skill that can be learned. Last night got really cold. It went down to 2 degrees above freezing. So I brought all my tropicals into the greenhouses, even my temperate ones like my lemon trees and grapefruits. So right now the greenhouse is full. Here's a look in the greenhouse. I don't know if you can see the floor down there, but it is full. We'll go down to the end wall here. Yeah, there you can see it a little more on the floor. It is definitely a greenhouse today. It is full of green. So I haven't opened it up today. Let's check the temperature. I'm looking at the thermometer on the back wall and it is just about 20 degrees Celsius. So pretty nice in there right now. Today it's 6 degrees outside, a high of 6, and it's going down tonight again to 2 degrees Celsius. In the other greenhouse, I've got that quite full too. Let's have a look in there. So there it is. I got the floor filled. I got all the benches filled in here. It's quite warm in here too. Not quite as warm as the glass greenhouse. The sun is trying to break through the clouds today, but it's just not coming through. So the big greenhouse, because it's glass, it gets a better greenhouse effect, kind of trapping the solar rays in there. So it's quite warm this afternoon, but once the sun goes down it'll drop. For today's project, I'm going to start on this large cedar here. My goal is to get a cathedral style cedar out of this tree. It's sold for hedging material, so it'll be a bit of a challenge, but I'll certainly start it on the process. It won't look like a finished tree after today. All I'll be doing is reducing the top growth, trying to encourage branching down lower, getting light there, cleaning out all the dead branches and getting it underway to grow for next year and slowly turn into a miniature tree. Okay. Onto the bench it goes. Here's a look at the tree on the bench. It has a twin trunk, so it's got the main trunk coming up here, and then there's a side one which is probably a branch coming off very low on the tree. That is growing up beside the tree and shading out any branches that'll come off the main trunk. So my first operation is to remove that side branch there. I'll clear out some of these other branches in the area here. And now, this big one. Like that. And I might be able to count the rings on the tree. See how old it is. It is, looks like 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 years old, this branch anyway. So I'll need to clear out all the debris at the base to try and see what the root base is like and clean that up if I can. I won't be repotting it today. That'll have to wait till spring, but I can kind of rake away some of the surface debris and that. Well, it does have some roots at the surface there. So I've got to get rid of this. I got to clean this stump up here. So I'll need to dig around there and see where it attaches to the main trunk and then prune it back flush. I don't want like a double trunk tree. Most of these old growth cedars are, big single tall mighty trunk coming up. So there's a couple of branches over this side I'll take off too. There's one here. And then there's a thicker one around here. Like that. You can see here there's a green shoot coming off the main trunk here that's very much alive. So that's kind of exciting. Alright, so now I'm going to come in and try and clean up all these cuts, making them as flush as possible. So again, this could be a case, you know, where the nursery trees are potted very deep in the pot. So the true root base may be quite far down in the pot. It's hard to tell until you start raking away a bit. But I'm not going to be too concerned about that for now. All I want to do is get all these cuts nice and flush on the trunk. Like that, that's good. Rotate it around now to the big one here. This will be the hardest one to clean up. I'll start with the little ones here. Now, I'll try and cut away some of the roots that are coming off of this one. I think I'm disturbing all these insects' homes here. Sorry, guys. Here's an overall look at the tree now. You can see I've got the bottom half of it cleaned up a lot more. So that's looking good. I'll clean out all the debris that's trapped in all these branches, and then we can come back and do all the pruning. That kind of gets a lot of it out. This tree is a Brandon cedar, number 7 Brandon cedar, Thuja occidentalis Brandon. So, number 1 cold hardy hedging tree. So from the picture, it looks like it's pyramidal. It grows very upright, maintains kind of a skinny columnar appearance. So probably good for an old growth looking tree. Here's a look at the branch structure on the tree. Now, one thing I've noticed is it's very linear. If I turn the tree 90 degrees, you notice that all the branches are in one plane. There's nothing coming out this direction and not much coming out this direction. So that's a bit of a disadvantage, but something that we can grow in the future. I've got to decide what height do I want my trunk to be before the branching starts. I'm thinking probably up here where it starts to divide from 1 to 2, 3, and more. So maybe I've got to remove these lower branches down here. I'm having a look from the front here, and I think definitely that one can be removed, this one, and the one off to the left-hand side. So I'll do that now. Now, these are branches that, you know, they could grow on the tree, and as it matures, they die off, they get shaded out and die. So I could leave some deadwood on these, and I think I will. So I'll just cut the branch off kind of here, like that. The one over here, I'll take it off here and here. There's one out front here. Take that one off. And then I've got this one here, so I can make that deadwood too. I don't want them very long, so probably even that might be too long, but I'll try that. Taking that branch off. I think this one definitely has to be a bit shorter. So that's got the lower branches removed. Now I'll have to make those into deadwood. I'll start by removing the bark, so just kind of wring it a bit and kind of peel it back. When the bark is fresh like this, it comes off really easily. If you leave it too long, it's really hard to get off. It's coming off now. So you can always peel this bark down the trunk, and it kind of looks like a little more natural, I guess. Has more of that ripped effect. Get rid of that little one in there. Okay, now I'm going to come in here with my pliers and kind of try and peel it back if I can. There, that one worked well. Like that. Pull on it. There, nice. Okay, now let's do this lower one. Just clean up some of these little branches. So same kind of thing. I'll just come in and kind of give it that look that it's just broke off in a storm. Something like that. That looks decent. I've got these two branches here on the right side that they kind of spread apart and then they close in and touch each other up here, which isn't so nice. Now I could put, you know, something in here to space them out so they fan out a little more. Same with this one. It's kind of coming close to the other one. But then, you know, I've got too many ladder branches. I got this one, one up here. It looks very repetitive. So I've got to decide which ones I want to keep. I think stepping back and putting my hand over this branch, it would look better without that branch. And I'm just trying to decide if I should make it deadwood. I think I'll try it as deadwood. So I'll prune it off about the same length as that one. So maybe just to here. Here I go. There goes a lot of green off the tree. Material like this, it was $10. And even if the tree doesn't turn into something spectacular in the end, think of it as training, that you bought a tree and you've done everything you can to it to make it look like a miniature tree or the tree you envision. And if it doesn't work out, well, that's $10. It's like nothing compared to, you know, the training that you get and the practice you get. Like, a lot of techniques in bonsai take practice, and for $10 you get a good practice tree. And as I said, if it doesn't work out, well, you've only lost $10. That's nice. There we go, another good split. And you can see how it's splitting down the trunk, which always looks good. Especially when that starts to heal over. It looks like an old wound. And, you know, techniques like this is practice for me. I'm no expert at deadwood, and so any experience like this is a learning experience and good practice. That's looking pretty good, actually. I'm going to leave it at that. The next thing I want to do is to get that branch on the right-hand side, the one that converges up here, spread out a little more. So I'll put a wedge or something in between the two branches. I've got some assorted scraps of wood here, so I'm hoping that one of these will work to bring this branch and spread it out. So maybe even like this one. Something like that. It's not the greatest looking. I'll try one of these smaller ones. You know, something like that could work. I'm looking from the front, and I think that looks fairly good there. I noticed that there's two parallel branches coming here, so I could put a wedge in there to bring that one over a bit too, I think. See if I can bring that one over a bit, eh? It's got to come a bit more. I think that's looking much better. The next job, I'm going to reduce the tops, so it'll still be a very tall tree. I'm hoping, you know, by reducing the canopy down, that I still have enough growth in here for the tree to live and be healthy, and then hopefully get more new buds down on the lower parts of the branches, so I can slowly shorten the tree over the years and still maintain its health. All right, I've got the tree lowered down a bit so I can get up here to prune it. So I'm looking for healthy foliage. I've got a branch coming forward, which is good, because remember I said everything was in one plane here, a sideways plane. So anything coming forward or backwards is really beneficial for the tree. So I got a good branch coming forward, another one here. I got one coming backwards here. So I think a good place to cut this off is right here. For now. I may take off more later. So there's the top off. And then I'm going to try and reduce these branches back too. Again, I got to keep healthy foliage on the branches. Okay. I think I'm getting down to the point where I've removed as much as I can for this year anyway. Let's get it back up on the bench now and have a look at it. Here's a look at the tree now from a possible front. So you can see in here there's a lot of little shoots that are growing in there, and I think now that they're getting all kinds of light, I hope next spring I get a lot of back budding in that area, and then I can further reduce the crown of the tree down to eventually somewhere kind of about there. So a lot of work to go on the tree. And you know, that's what you have to do on these large cedars. You just got to chase that foliage back from the outer tips, bring it back down, slowly make the tree more compact over the years. So I think, you know, it's made its first transition from a piece of hedge material down to something that could eventually be a bonsai someday. And I'm looking probably at 10 years before this material starts to look like a miniaturized tree. I'm thinking that kind of a time frame, but maybe sooner, who knows, we'll see. Today, my $10 hedge material started its long journey of slowly becoming a bonsai. And remember, do not try riding your bicycle like I did with my hands crossed or my hand on the wrong handlebar. And that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.